Thanks for joining us here in Arc Salt Lake. I'm Brian Schnee. Tuesday, August 5th. Crews are expected to work through the night starting tomorrow in hopes to repair the power lines damaged by the Monroe Canyon Fire. I spoke to a representative of Garca Energy Cooperative to learn how extensive the damage is and what has to be done to repair it. Before we get to that, though, let's get to meteorologist Sean Kelly here, stepping in with our first alert forecast. Fire concerns still definitely out there. Need people to be smart at this point.
Right, yeah, that's kind of the scoop. We're still in the heart of it. Not getting much relief from the heat just yet.
I like the suit, by the way.
Thank you. You know, this is my suit that I got for Italy. I've got a big trip coming up here. Yeah,
okay. So, all right, we'll talk about that one.
Given that reveal here at 7 p.m. showing you what's going on. But yeah, we've got that fire weather here. Unfortunately, it kind of will only get worse before it gets better as we're dealing with some triple-digit heat. We've got those fire conditions up for much of the state, including the Wasatch Mountains and down towards the south. You can see why the winds are still whipping quite a bit across much of the southern part of the state. Still down towards the south, we've got some strong wind gusts here, 30 to 35 miles per hour, and some gusty winds from Duchesne down southward into the Price area. A bit of that smoky sky out there as well, hazy conditions and reduced air quality. We're at 91 degrees right now. Those temperatures for much of the evening here have been cooler than yesterday. If you're heading to the Bees game, those enjoying it going to have a great one. We'll be dealing with temperatures going from the 90s down into the 70s as you're heading home. And unfortunately, we've got no rain here in the forecast, but we do, Brian, have some relief in sight. We'll let you know how cool it will get by the weekend. Coming up, my first alert weather forecast.
12 transmission lines, at least 26 residential lines have been damaged or destroyed in the Monroe Canyon Fire. We showed you last week how the power company Garca Energy Cooperative rushed large generators, some of which were from the Salt Lake area, when the entirety of Wayne County lost power. The quick and celebrated fix was temporary, but we wanted to know what it would take for the company to get residents a permanent solution.
I've been here like 12 years now.
So in the last 12 years, have you had a Monroe Canyon Fire before the Monroe Canyon Fire?
Not quite, nothing this big and nothing that, we've had fires that took out like residential power lines, but nothing on a main transmission that's going to affect 3,000 people like the Monroe Fire did.
How do you describe the last couple of weeks for you and your team? I mean, it seems like just when things maybe started looking good, then the fire decided to do something else. And then you've been very active on social media, sharing kind of the progress of where things are at. But when you look back at the last 2.5 weeks or so, how do you just describe what this has been like for you and your team?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, for about a week, we were watching it closely. We kind of thought we were in the clear. We did try to communicate pretty proactively to tell the members, be prepared in case this fire switches. And so we were kind of glad that our communications team prepped in that way. And then all of a sudden it did switch. And next thing you know, the fire's right on the lines, and hurrying, getting messages out that power could be out for quite a while. I think the hardest part about fires is we want to respect the fire officials and the fire crews and do what they think is safe, so everyone's safe, but then also worried about power. So it's kind of a double-edged sword that we don't want to cause any more problem with electricity for the fires, but we want to keep the power on as much as we can.
When you look at what this fire did to your infrastructure, what did it do?
Yeah, so we had a meeting this morning. So it damaged 12 of our transmission line poles. But then even on top of the Monroe Mountain, we have there's cabins and stuff, and those are more residential lines, but I think that damaged almost like 26 additional poles that we can't even get to. And I know we feel bad for the cabin owners that lost cabins and stuff. And so that'll be another project after we get clearance to go up there to replace those lines that feed the cabins. So on top of the transmission, there was a lot of residential damage as well. Initially, we thought it was going to be more transmission poles, so we're kind of lucky that it was just those 12 structures or whatever.
Getting those generators, how crucial was that? mid to late last week for you.
Yeah, that was huge. That's going to be just as big as project as replacing those poles to try to get those in place. And um, I'm not an engineer, but to try to match the voltage with a generator and hook it up to the substation so it matches the line. But Cat was really good. We had four of our own, and they lent us two. Um, so we'd have enough to cover that whole load. But that's going to be a big project tomorrow to try to match up all the loads in the different areas. Um, and generators can be finicky. You never know how they're going to react, and so tomorrow will be a big day to see if we can get those online. When we cut power to the whole transmission.
Can you describe what happens tomorrow? And is this a temporary thing that happens tomorrow, or is this a fuller long-term fix? How do you describe that?
Yeah, so tomorrow morning we'll have, we're going to probably have 50 employees working. So we'll have half of them working on the structures to repair there once we cut the transmission, the power. And then the other half will have probably 20, 30 employees. Right when they cut power to the transmission, they'll all start hooking up the generators and bringing those loads on. And so the idea is to have those generators help serve that load while the poles are getting fixed. And the crews will probably work, I'm guessing, through the night to get the poles ready, so we don't have to rely on the generators as long. So as soon as all those poles are fixed and we're able to hook that back up, which I'm guessing it'll be into Thursday, before that happens, and then we got to cut power to the generators and then swing it back to the main transmission, and then that will be a permanent fix.
This is a big undertaking. Has your crew ever done anything of this magnitude so quickly?
Oh, no, definitely not. Nothing like this that requires generator work and then transmission work simultaneously at the same time. So yeah, nothing like this. The Monroe Fire was interesting, where it's like it's going for a week. It looks like it's just staying on the mountain, and then it jumped and went. So I think our crews were prepared, and communication wise, we had, like you said, Facebook. Not everyone's on Facebook, but we'd got our kind of outage notification system up and running right before that. So we were able to send like automated voice messages as well as emails on top of Facebook. So I hope most people got the messages between those three ways, and we're in the process of getting a texting service as well. So I'm always looking to just find all avenues to communicate.
So far, the plan goes as follows: starting repairs and rebuilds tomorrow at 6 a.m. while those affected use generators that are already in place. Garca says those in affected areas should expect power bumps and temporary outages. They're asking that customers reduce power outage and usage tomorrow and Thursday by turning off unnecessary appliances and equipment. The lighter the load, they say, the smoother the connections. If you need more information, I just published an article on our website. They'll be using this Facebook page for updates throughout the process. They've done a really good job. We're very complimentary, I believe, about the communication that Garca has done with a lot of people in the area, and everyone that I spoke to late last week seemed pretty informed about the status of what's going on with power in the area due to the Monroe Canyon Fire. So wildfires are burning all across the West, but here at home, fire crews really have their hands full still in central Utah. Firefighters have been evacuated from the Box Creek Spike Camp that is on the south side of the Monroe Canyon Fire. We learned of this afternoon. The sheriff's office confirming to me the fire is not threatening the Spike Camp area, but it is being abandoned out of precaution and potential risk. Monroe Canyon staying at about 13% containment the past couple of days. Homeowners in Burrville were able to return home last night at 6 o'clock. The Monroe Canyon Fire has burnt over 63,000 acres. In Arizona, fire crews are still working to put out one of the largest wildfires, if not the largest in the country. although the Gifford fire in California is definitely pushing towards that. The Dragon Bravo fire here burning in the north rim of the Grand Canyon has consumed more than 126,000 acres. Over 1,200 firefighters are working to put this one out. Right now, fire crews are working the southwest corner in hopes of stopping the spread there. The Dragon Bravo fire only 13% contained. Speaking of the Gifford fire, some new video from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration shows a time lapse of the Gifford fire from one of its satellites here. The fire is burning in the counties of San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara. It's burnt over 82,000 acres. Only 7% contained. More than 850 structures are at risk. Evacuation orders are in effect. Nearly 2,000 wildland firefighters are working this right now. That is a massive amount of personnel. The cause under investigation. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, an ongoing lawsuit alleging sexual harassment, a hostile work environment, and retaliation from a university administrator. The insight into the employee's exit next. A top administrator at Utah Tech University has resigned amid an ongoing lawsuit alleging sexual harassment, a hostile work environment, and retaliation. That administrator, named several times in several dozens of times, I should say, in the complaint. Liv Kelleher joins us from Utah Tech in southern Utah with insight on his exit.
The federal lawsuit was filed in November of 2024 by 3 members of the university's Title IX office. The lawsuit alleges that Sharp and members of his team allowed for over 4 years the posting and display in a public break room on campus of highly obscene and vulgar sexual comments with their names attributed to the comments. That prompted a mandatory Title IX investigation in 2021, which Sharp says cleared him of wrongdoing. 2 years later, they say their names were attached to a gag gift of vegetables arranged in a phallic shape, delivered to Sharp by then President Biff Williams. According to the lawsuit, Utah Tech followed this obscenity with a sham investigation, cover-up, and derogation of plaintiffs' grievances. Plaintiffs argue the university's response to both incidents exemplified a toxic culture. For the last several years, Utah Tech has exhibited a culture of hostility in its highest administrative offices towards the protections of Title IX and Title VII. Biff Williams resigned in 2023, and Shane Smead took over as president this spring. He was unavailable to interview today, but I asked him in May how he plans to rebuild trust within the community.
It's already begun, and I think the members of the community are seeing me as an active partner in reaching out to them. And so I'll be having discussions with many members of our community about what's transpired in the past and where we are today and where we're going.
The university provided the following statement. As we continue our upward growth trajectory, we are creating the Vice President of Enrollment and Marketing position to strengthen our efforts to tell the Trailblazer story, expand access to higher education, and continue to meet our students' needs. This federal lawsuit is still ongoing, and no court has ruled on the claims or anyone named in the suit. Now, Sharp told me he's proud of his 13 years here at Utah Tech and is excited for the university's next chapter under President Smead. In St. George, Liv Kelleher, KUTV 2 News.
Meteorologist Sean Kelly back. I say back, I didn't get a chance to see you late last week. I was out of town covering the fire. You were on the other side of the country, back in your stomping grounds for a little bit, right?
You know, we actually had a little bit of wildfire smoke in the Philly area up through New Jersey. It was hazy. And it seems like that's becoming more of the norm here. I mean, growing up in the Northeast, we didn't have wildfire smoke coming in from Canada. Never, right?
No, I do not remember that. I remember life was very different back then.
And now we're getting more and more intense wildfires. The season's getting more intense.
And we're seeing areas in the Northeast and that section of the country that are having actual wildfires themselves. Yeah. That was something I never experienced as a kid. And
that's climate change here for you. The heat also getting more intense. Yeah. It's becoming more and more prevalent. It's affecting you at home, everyone here. Sure. Back here right now, we do have some changes that I'm looking forward to. I don't know about you, but 80s for August, I mean, that's looking pretty good. Friday and Saturday, we're going to be going from the triple digits tomorrow down into the 80s. But for right now, it's still quite a bit toasty. We're into the upper 80s and low 90s out there. We've got a full-on sunny sky, a little bit of that haze I mentioned, that wildfire smoke. We're still dealing with it. You could see it visually here, that smoke collecting in across the Wasatch Mountains can't really be mixed out here. And we're also dealing with some ground level levels of ozone. So definitely want to limit your time outside if you're someone that may be a little bit more sensitive to poor air quality here. It should improve a little bit tomorrow and as we get into the day on Thursday here. But we're going to continue to be dealing with these rounds of wildfire smoke with the winds of the south-southwest, all that smoke even from California and Nevada moving into the state as we get in through the next few days. So we're in that for the long haul. We're also dealing with those wildfire conditions for the remainder of the day today and especially tomorrow. In fact, tomorrow could get even a little bit more intense, and that'll linger on through Thursday here, especially down across central and southern Utah. Those temperatures still pretty toasty. We're at 102 in St. George, 99 in Page, 81 in Panguitch, 95 in Hanksville, and 86 in Heber. Those winds will settle a little bit through the overnight, but still be pretty windy through much of the day tomorrow, and that'll continue on once again through much of the day on Thursday here. So the winds will be problematic, and that will continue to fuel those wildfiring conditions. We've got this stationary front down towards the south that's providing some clouds, but no rain out there across the I-70 corridor. Plenty of clear skies up towards the north, and we're dry and hot through the next few days and windy. But here comes our cold front. The dynamics for anything in the way of rain is going to be way up towards the north, so don't even think about it. Unfortunately, we're going to be dry as that front moves in, other than maybe a sprinkle across the Uintas. But when it does, from Thursday night to Friday, we will see some significantly cooler conditions, which will be nice to look forward to. So we've got 60s and 70s as we head into the overnight. Not much relief because look at these temperatures. Boom, we're back into the triple digits here for at least one day, and then we'll see some cooler temperatures behind it. But we've got triple digits from Moab down to the St. George area. Windy, hot conditions over the next several days, and kind of the same each and every day, 104 to 105. Through the next several days across the Wasatch Front. We've got triple-digit heat, then slight cool down as we make our way through the remainder of the week and into the weekend. We'll be dealing with temperatures into the 80s here as well. 90 on Sunday, 93 on Monday. So some slight relief for a few days. We'll be dealing with temperatures into the 80s. So that'll be a nice change of pace here.
I don't know. I think that's a little too cool for you to be hanging out at the pool. You require hot
That is
weather.
true. That is true.
So what are you going to do now?
Well, you know what? Maybe with that, it's almost going to feel like fall, especially up into the mountains.
Wow.
For the first weekend of Snowbird, maybe.
Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
The largest,
week, yeah.
apparently. I learned that
Oktoberfest.
today. I didn't realize it was the largest in the country.
Really?
That was our words. I didn't write it, but apparently that's what
Okay.
was said on TV today.
Right.
You know what's interesting? We have a lot of those little festivals here. I've been here 6 years. I still haven't been able to make it up to Oktoberfest. I would love it if you would take.
Oh, it's a great time.
I would love it if you would take.
It is a great time. Probably this time I'd want to get a ride there, Uber.
You
I
don't
know
say.
I looked on their
I wonder
website.
why.
They're offering, well, not only that,
I'm
the
not
drinking, but
suggesting
also because
anything.
of how crowded it is, and then you're also looking
Parking.
for parking.
Sure.
And you're also got to be safe with other people who may be driving.
Yeah, make
and
good
it's
choices
dangerous.
if you're heading up. It's a
But
long
I
event.
did see on their website they are offering free rides up, I believe, from the bottom of the canyon. So
Do a little
check
research
out.
on that. I would
Yeah.
like to know how we can do that. Thank you, Sean. Still ahead here on Arc Salt Lake, a small monster with a hefty price tag. Why the Better Business Bureau is warning Labubu fans to be mindful of scams. If you are a collector, you should be on the lookout for bogus Labubus. That's a message from the Better Business Bureau, reminding consumers that online scammers are often on the prowl, trying to take advantage of the day's hot trends. I learned about Labubus about an hour ago. The plush monster with pointed ears and serrated teeth has become a must-have accessory.
Yeah, I once scraped my elbow and it was a Labubu. Anyway, more than 70 people have reported purchasing counterfeit Labubus, according to the BBB's scam tracker. In some cases, people who thought they were buying a Labubu got a fake one or nothing at all.
Needless to say, you're not in the market for a Labubu?
No, this is my first time hearing about this.
See, I had a feeling too. Ashlyn, our producer, messaged me earlier today. Said, be careful about Labubus late in the show. You got to be aware.
Yeah.
Be aware of the bogus Labubus. See you tomorrow night at 7.